Hello. So, first of all, apologies that I've not put out any videos in the last couple of weeks. I've just had things on and just sort of shelved the videos, but here I am with this video. So, I hope everyone's well. So, what I wanted to talk about today was, as we're in November, is Movember. So that's the men's sort of mental health awareness movement. Just bringing awareness to the fact that men do struggle with mental health and sort of expressing their needs. That's something that men do struggle with. So I just wanted to talk about my perspective, and it was a few years ago now that I also struggle with my mental health. I had depression at times and anxiety, and I struggle with that. And I remember once reaching out to a friend. So I was really vulnerable, a bit scared, but I decided I'd share what's going on for me with my friend. And I'll never forget it, but he just said, right, okay, well, yeah, but something else in your life is good. I can't remember what it was. Something else was, he mentioned something else, what was going on in my life, which was good. He said, so, what's the big deal sort of thing. Totally dismissed what I'm struggling with. And he also mentioned someone else who's going through something worse than me. And I get it to a point. I get it, because knowing what I know now, he didn't know how to handle what I was saying. He didn't know how to be with me. He didn't know how to sit with me and just be silent or, empathise with what I'm saying. That sounds really tough, that, David. Tell me a little bit more about that. So, and I think that's where the issue is. I think, when you hear these stats, and I hear some of my friends and work colleagues might say, oh, why don't men just talk to people before they do something like take their own life? Why don't they just talk to someone? And I understand what they're saying, but I don't think it's just saying something to someone. That might work for you, but I think it's more important to talk to the right person, someone who can sort of understand what you're saying, empathise with what you're saying. And it's a clinical term, it's a therapist term, but contain you, so they can contain what you're saying without batting it straight back like my friend did. I'm not blaming him. He just couldn't offer me what I wanted at the time. I wanted someone who could empathise with me, understand me, and, sort of walk alongside me what I was going through. But instead, he just batted that back because he weren't ready. He didn't know what to do. And he tried to sort of fix me, maybe, by saying, I know someone who's worse off than you. And that sort of, I didn't feel heard, I didn't feel respected, and I don't blame him. As I said, I don't think he was in the place where he just couldn't do that, he couldn't offer that. And I think if you've got a friend who can hear you, can be quiet with you while you're talking about your issues, can contain you, doesn't try to fix you. If you've got someone like that in your life, keep close to them. Talk to them, spend some time with them, because not everyone's like that. Not everyone can do that. As in, be a safe space for someone, to be quiet with someone when someone's in pain, in emotional pain. It's not easy. Not everyone's good at that. I class myself as a good listener. I'm obviously a counsellor, so I've developed those skills even more. So, but even I find it sometimes hard when someone's in real emotional pain. You know, it's not an easy thing to do. Thankfully, I can work with that now, but it isn't always easy. So I get why people would want to sort of say something like, you know, oh, such a body's worse off than you, or imagine if you was that, that's even worse. I get it why they're saying that, but it doesn't help. Really doesn't help. So, another thing I wanted to talk about was, so I used to work for Samaritans as a listener, listening support. I can't think what the title was, but basically the public phoned the Samaritans, and I would pick up the phone with my colleagues. So we'd pick up the phone, someone would, talk about something where they're struggling with in life, whether that's mental health or just things that they just need to talk through and process. So I would listen, and over the time I worked there for about, 2 years or so, 2-3 years. And when I got a male caller, not all the time, but sometimes, towards the end they'd say, "You're not like a normal man, you." And at first I thought, that sounds a bit offensive, that. I don't know what he means by that. So I did say, what does it you mean by that? What is a normal man? So he said, well, you're different. I can't talk to my friends like I can with you. So I just said, I was intrigued by this. So I said, well, what is it you can't tell your friends? So he said, well, things that are a little bit embarrassing. And now these were his friends. These people were the people he spent the most time with, and he couldn't tell them what's really going on. I think that's really sad. And don't get me wrong, when I was growing up, maybe it's a man thing, like sort of act tough and don't be, if you got something on, just sort of shove it under the carpet, just get on with it. And that was my sort of attitude, whether that's the environment, my upbringing, I don't know, but that's how it was. But thankfully, I've developed my emotional bandwidth. I can sort of express myself in different ways, a lot better now, a lot healthier. So I think men are, and this is not just men, there are women who also struggle to express themselves and get their needs met, but I think particularly men. I work with men, I spend quite a bit of time with men, and I just think it's very, very sad. But there are options out there, and one of them is, to seek some not medical help. Well, maybe you can go to the doctors and have a chat with the doctor and see where that takes you. But I'm thinking more counselling. I'm thinking, a counsellor will be able to be that person who will be still and silent and listen to those things, contain those things and not bounce them back, and then work through those really difficult emotions and painful, embarrassing, whatever things are going on for you. A good, adequate counsellor will sit with you and work through those things, gently challenge those thoughts, what you might be having, work through them, look at alternatives. As I said, I had to work through some stuff, and thankfully I had the people around me, counsellors as well, who I went to, who could help me sort of process my thoughts, help me to feel my feelings, as daft as that might sound. Recognising that you're having feelings, your emotions are happening, and recognising when they're happening and what they're trying to tell you to do. There's a lot in there, a lot that I learned about that. To sort of work with your body, if there's something going on in your body, you're feeling something, your body doesn't lie. Your body doesn't waste energy doing things. It's telling you something. So spending time with an adequate, good counsellor can be really beneficial. So I'm going to end it there because it's quite a long video, this one, but I thought it's really important to talk about this and how sad those statistics are about men's mental health, suicide. It's a terrible thing, and it can be reduced, can be avoided, speaking to the right people. So I hope that encourages you, some people. So thank you for watching. Have a good rest of the week, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care, and bye-bye.